ESPN power rankings and each team's most shocking ranking this season. They go Lions 1, Chiefs 2, Eagles 3. They have the Browns at 24. Most shocking ranking. Second most explosive plays allowed. Last season, the Browns had the fewest yards per play at 4.6, but that figure's ballooned to 5.7 in 2024, mainly because of 100 explosive plays they've allowed. Head-scratching issue for a defense that has given up the second fewest explosive plays last year and returned most of their starters. And the offense has been so bad um, that we haven't paid attention to the issue with the defense giving up big plays all the time.
Yeah, well, that's where everybody pointed the pick sixes with Jameis Winston against Denver, but I blame the defense for that game. They let a rookie quarterback go for 3rd and 11 from his own 7, throw a 93-yard touchdown. They had another one where they had him backed up, could have had a safety, missed the play, and the Broncos went on, convert, and get a field goal. That was a 10, 12-point swing right there. And it's kind of been, I think, I think it really is a complimentary football thing when you hear about that. In those first 6, 7 games, other than the opener with the Cowboys, the Browns didn't score. Well, even in that game, they didn't score. They didn't score 20 points, with Watson, at the wheel. And you're scoring 14, 16 points, and you were losing like 20-16, in games like that. If the offense would have just done anything, they would have won a couple more games. So I think that wears on you on the defense. I also think the defense, obviously misjudged thinking just bringing everybody back, they'd pick up where they left off. They were exposed, in that playoff game by the Texans, and it just seemed like they didn't take that serious. They felt like, oh, that was just a bad, they always said it was we picked a bad day to have a bad day. Well, I think there was more to it than that. Last year, they didn't play the top echelon quarterbacks more so than they are this year. And I think there's a lot of factors involved. And so I think they're going to have to take a real hard look, at the defense. But everybody expected to have a top 10 defense, good special teams, a reliable kicker, and being able to, if you could score 20, 25 points a game, you'd win a lot of games because your defense is going to hold the opponent around 20. And that didn't happen. And so here's here's where you're at. Sure, last year, think of some games, they shouldn't have beat Indianapolis 39-38 with PJ Walker, and you think of that 49ers game where the kicker missed the field goal. 11-6 can't, but they might not have been as good overall as everybody thought. You were really maybe a 9-8 team last year. And so they didn't make enough moves or relied on re-signing people that aren't having the type of years that they thought they would. So I think that's going to make it reevaluate all the way around. What do you really have to go with Denzel Ward, Miles Garrett, and uncertainty with JOK and some of the other guys you have Delpit, and you got to get your defense. You look at Pittsburgh, we're all scratching our head. How could they be 10-7 last year with Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett? They had a really good defense, but they did just enough to win on offense. They make a change at quarterback, bring in 2 guys who aren't really setting the world on fire, but they're making just enough plays and managing the game not to ruin the game. But the defense is keeping them right there. And if the offense just does a little bit, they win. And that's why one of the reasons they're 10-3 and the Browns are 3-10.